There's one list where Tadej Pogačar would love to see his name, a list that includes Roger De Vlaeminck, Eddy Merckx, and Rik Van Looy. Not because they're Belgian, but because they did something almost impossible. They won all 5 cycling monuments: Milano-San Remo, the Tour of Flanders, Paris-Roubaix, Liège-Bastogne-Liège, and Lombardia. Only a handful of riders in history have managed to win them all, and Pogačar is getting closer. At just 27 years old, the Slovenian already has 3 of them. He's won the Tour of Flanders twice, Liège-Bastogne-Liège 3 times, and Lombardia 5 times. So the question isn't if Pogačar can win the remaining 2, the real question is when. Last year, he already showed what he's capable of. In his Paris-Roubaix debut, he finished 2nd, and in the last 2 editions of Milano-San Remo, he crossed the line in 3rd place. But maybe it's actually a good thing he hasn't completed the set yet, because cycling fans don't want a sport dominated by one rider. A little rivalry makes everything better, and luckily, Pogačar has one: Mathieu van der Poel. The Dutchman was the man who stopped Pogačar last season. Whenever the climbs aren't too steep and the efforts aren't too long, Van der Poel has shown he can beat him. And this spring, the 2 superstars will face each other again, 3 times. The first clash comes next week, Milano-San Remo, and this might actually be the hardest monument for Pogačar to win. It's the longest race of the year, but the decisive efforts are surprisingly short. Everything usually comes down to 2 climbs: the Cipressa and the Poggio. Last year, Pogačar tried to blow the race apart. Almost everyone cracked, but one rider stayed glued to his wheel: Mathieu van der Poel. And just behind them, Filippo Ganna was still hanging on. If Pogačar wants to win San Remo, he has to drop everyone. The problem? Everyone knows exactly what he's going to try. So the strategy is simple: hold his wheel and pray you survive until the top. After San Remo, the rivalry continues in the Tour of Flanders, a race where Pogačar already has the upper hand. He's beaten Van der Poel there twice, and honestly, a 3rd victory wouldn't be a surprise. Pogačar knows exactly where to attack. On climbs like the Uda Quaremont or the Paterberg, he can produce brutal accelerations, the kind that makes even the strongest riders question their life choices. And once Pogačar rides away solo, you usually don't see him again. But the most fascinating battle of the spring might happen in Paris-Roubaix, because here, the difference between the 2 might be the smallest. Last year, we were heading for an incredible duel, until disaster struck. Pogačar entered a corner too fast and crashed. He lost contact with Van der Poel. He tried to come back, but eventually, the elastic snapped. Roubaix suits Van der Poel perfectly. He's slightly heavier, which helps him float over the cobbles. His bike handling is exceptional, and in every corner, he can gain a few seconds. But there's another detail many people forget. Van der Poel is a master at choosing the right lines over the cobbles, avoiding the sharp edges, avoiding the worst holes, saving both energy and his equipment, which is why he punctures far less often than many of his rivals. But Pogačar has something else: his engine. And it might be the most terrifying engine in modern cycling, because Pogačar simply doesn't get tired. He can launch devastating solo attacks from absurd distances, sometimes 100 kilometers from the finish. And once he drops you, that's usually the end of the story. So if you want to beat Tadej Pogačar, there's only one rule: never lose his wheel.
May I have your attention for a moment? My name is Davide Grimaldi, and I'm a former Italian professional cyclist. In the documentary Forza Grimaldi, you will get a unique behind-the-scenes look at my career. From the very beginning to the final moments, documentary makers followed me closely. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m., a new episode will be released. I hope to see you there.